about 18 years?
Since
19?
05.
Okay.
19 years.
Yes, I can do that now. Yeah. Thank God. If it gets into higher math, I have to get a calculator.
Okay.
Anyway, she's gonna talk about what it got, how it was started and how much fun they have, and just encourage you to ask questions when she finishes, and then we'll hear from Russell.
Okay, sounds good. I'm glad to be here and tell you all about the Mardigras. Over the years, it has grown tremendously, as you well know. When they first started it, we knew that we were going to have to be moving from our older location, which we had a 50-year lease on for $1. And we knew that time was coming up, we needed to make some money to build a new station. So locals started putting their heads together, dreaming up chili supper and all sorts of different things. So our assistant fire chief at the time and the lady that owns Pops, they were sitting there and they said, well, why don't we have a festival like Mardigras in Louisiana? And they got to think, I said, here in Lamar? They said, we're gonna make it different. We're in Lamar, let's make it Mardigras. And so that stuck. So in 2001, they had their first Mardigras celebration, and it did not do well because the word didn't get out. We didn't have the advertising that we have now. And so they said, well, this is not gonna work, we're gonna have to dream up something else. So they laid off 1 year, then they started again, and it's been going ever since, and every year, more people are coming, we're making more money, and we're actually open 19 total hours, and we always clear over $50,000 in that. That's not bad for a little small community. And we have on the average of 3,000 people that visit us that weekend. We changed it several years ago to have it the same weekend every year, so those outside of the area could put it on their calendars. It's always the second Friday and following Saturday in February. And they said that way they know. And Riptide, a local band, has been our closing act from day one.
Oh,
And he said he will continue to charge us the same amount, not go up on anything if he can be the closing act as long as he can. So that's awesome. So if you've not ever been out to our celebration, we'd love for you to come. And we have so many things to do. We have great vendors. Of course, we have the casino. We've got a silent auction. We've got the Chinese auction. And live music the whole time, and then of course the parade on Saturday morning. So it is growing, and Lamar is glad that we have a station there. So our support is gone. Let me show you, this is one of our very first posters that we put out, okay? Those signatures on there are the people that volunteered to help with it that year.
so there are
You can
10 or 12.
You can multiply this by about 100. Because now we have a listing that's several pages long of volunteers working different shifts in different areas. We also, at that time, thought we need to come up with something that be recognizable just for the Mardigras. So, several years ago, we found this mask. I think they had somebody actually work on it to create it like this. We have this trademark. Nobody can use this except the Mardigras. So anytime you see that gold mask in the area, you know it's Lamar. Are there any questions?
So you hold it on the grounds of the fire department?
Yes, sir, we do. We set up tents. We have a main tent where we have the bands, of course, and we have a double stage. So one band, as they're finishing their set, another can be setting up, so we have continuous music all the time. And then, of course, our food booth, and we have a separate tent just for the vendors. But it takes up our whole area. We've got 2.5 acres that we're on there, and we use every inch of it.
Do you serve
Everybody
crawfish?
says, huh?
Do you serve crawfish?
No, we do not. We do not.
But will you come anyway?
Sure.
We got gumbo.
Yeah, we have gumbo, yeah. We do have gumbo, but as far as, no, they've not ever done just the crawfish. Anyway, Any other questions?
So it looks like from 5 to 11 on Friday evening?
Right, and then also, if you come on Fridays and buy a wristband for $5, then you can wear that wristband the next day and get in free. So that's pretty cheap for a weekend. Kids under 12 are free.
Do you have contests, like a gumbo contest or a barbecue contest?
No, we don't. That's Gumbo Palooza that does that at Pops.
But you
And
do,
that's another good charity.
you do a king or queen, don't you?
Yes,
And you have a
we
parade?
do, and the fire department, we used to have people voting on king and queen, and it got to be such a hassle. Because a lot of people would look at these ballots, they had no idea who those people were. So now we just let the fire department members select who the king and queen is, and they'll be riding on the special, we have the coronation on Friday night where they get crowned, whether they like it or not. And then Saturday morning, then they ride on the king and queen float and throw out candy and beads along the route. And they really enjoy it. They say they don't. They say it's a pain, but I know better than that.
What about y'all's nickname for people that live out there?
Oh, yes. We are called Lamartians. Okay? And everybody, and Carl Stubbs, our fire chief, just hates it when we say that. And we told him he needs to get a life. He may have been there for 50 years, but we call ourselves Lamartians.
And you're proud of it.
And we're proud of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, when the whooping cranes are here, my gosh, we're wanting to move out. Because everybody that has a camera is set up out there. You can't even get down the roads out there anymore because everybody's setting the tripods up right in the middle of the road. And you can't even get around them and they won't move.
Welcome to our world on this side.
I'm sure that's true. But anyway, it brings a lot of people out there and like I say, and I'll put a plug for Gumbo Palooza. It's coming up first weekend in June, and that benefits local kids' college scholarships. Right now, they're giving 51 kids money each semester. That's pretty good.
Because they don't just give for the first year, and I'm in a couple of organizations that give scholarships, but we traditionally do just for the first year. But as long as the kid stays in school, and I think comes back and volunteers.
And they have to come back and work the events.
Yes, which is only fair.
Yes.
And
That's
the
your part.
organization keeps supporting them. I mean, this is
Yeah.
tremendous.
It is,
commitment.
it is. But the
One of my
community,
coworkers' daughters, I think this will be her second.
community is behind it 100%.
Where is that held?
At Pop's Tavern and Cafe there in Lamar. It's called Gumbo Palooza. You can pull it up online. They got a Facebook page.
I think it's Saturday, June 1st.
Yeah, and then they're also well, it'll be on Sunday.
Oh, okay,
Because on the Saturday, they'll have a golf cart poker run.
okay.
And that's kind of fun, and all that money goes into that same scholarship fund. So, everything that we can do, try to help kids. So, any other questions? No?
Thank you,
Well,
Sally.
thank you.
Appreciate it. All right.
Ta-da!
Your turn, Russell. So next, Russell Cole, long history of his family being here in the community. Going back, I don't know, 6 or 7 generations, maybe more.
I'm number 5.
Okay.
Fourth generation, his dad was in the fourth generation.
Okay.
Number 5.
And former mayor, county commissioner, and all around good guy in town.
Thank you. Thank y'all for allowing us to come talk
Sure.
about Oysterfest and Fulton. Good job, by the way. That's my girlfriend now. We don't tell nobody that.
We've known each other too long, Russ.
Yes, we have. Anyway, I'm here to talk about Oysterfest, and I'm going to tell the real story, how it really got started.
Good.
And And it was about October of 1978. The Fulton Fire Department was cooking fish and French fries at the Seafair. This was on a Sunday. And so my dad, being the fire chief, looked, and they told us we could not start selling till noon. So my dad looks down and there's these booths selling. So he said, boys, fire it up, we're gonna sell some fish and French fries. Well, the guy that was ahead of all, I'm not mentioning no names, was ahead of the booths, told my dad he couldn't sell. He got pretty rude. So my dad said, well, in a nice way, I'm going to Fulton and start my own festival.
It wasn't
Wow.
That's not exactly how it said.
He's cleaning the story. He cleaned it up, so.
So anyway, November was hunting lease. We was on the lease, I think in Witsit, and there were several firemen, older firemen, my dad and Bob Laughlin and my brother, a couple people, and so that November is when Oysterfest, they started talking about Oysterfest, and believe it or not, March of 1979, which wasn't even 5 months, we had our first Oysterfest. It was at the old Paul's and Paul's building where Inn at Fulton Harbor is. We had no money to have a festival. I mean, just absolutely no money. I mean, back in those days, we barely had equipment to fight fire. And, you know, people would give us trucks, we would build tanks. We were talking about this the other day. You know, you had to hope 3 firemen showed up at the same time because somebody had to push the clutch in while we pushed the fire truck to get it started. I mean, you just never knew if it was gonna start or not. And then we go fight fire, and then we gotta come back and work on the stuff to get ready for the next fire. So, the first year, most everything was donated. I think we had to rent a little tent. Everybody was very gracious. We made, I think, $3,500 our first year. And that allowed us to buy our first piece of real new equipment, which was the Jaws of Life. And that's what, there was not a Jaws of Life in Aransas County. When there was a major accident, you know, the fire department went and did what they could with cutting torches and just whatever it took to get the people out. Fast forward to today. 45 years later, Oysterfest is a big success. We have 2 big tents. We have a parade. We have carnival. And to go back to the first year, you know, we sold canned beer out of a canoe. Out of a canoe. And we had Jim Furlong, which was an old Fulton man. He roasted pigs for us, which he used to do there in Fulton. So, and we did have, that's when the Buck and Bull was popular. So at our first Oysterfest, we had the Buck and Bull. And like I said, and I don't know how, you know, we ended up making about $3,500, and that's after my dad telling the bands, thank y'all for coming and donating your time, but we ain't got no money to pay you. That's just how he put it. If you knew my dad, that's how it was. So we made $3,500 off the first Oysterfest. Now, that only took 3 or 4 months to put together. 45 years later, it takes us all a year. We've already met, getting ready for number 46. And we've had several, we've had 4 or 5 meetings already getting ready for number 46. And just to give you an idea where it went from the first Oysterfest to 45 years later, this year we sold 48,600 oysters. That's 486 sacks. 419 kegs of beer. That's 6,495 gallons. Men's oyster eating, the winner won 244. And believe it or not, that's not a record. And the women ate 128 oysters
In 5 minutes.
in 5 minutes.
Oh, no.
5 minutes. Sounds like something you want to try. And what does Oyster Fest mean? To Fulton Fire Department. Going back 45 years ago, we had nothing to now. And, you know, we're proud to say, as being one of the board members, everything the Fulton Volunteer Fire Department has is paid for due to Oyster Fest. We have new pumpers, we have newer pumpers. You know, it takes like $5,000 to outfit one fireman. It takes, an air pack is $8,000. And just a plain pumper with nothing on it is around $800,000. Now, that's not just Fulton, they go through this, they go through the same thing. I mean, it doesn't, just because they live in Lamar, it doesn't get any cheaper, they don't give them a break. I mean, well, I agree. You know, they don't get, you know, so it costs a lot of money for these volunteer fire departments to operate.
We've
You know,
got 9.
Pardon me?
We've got 9 pieces of apparatus and 2 stations at the moment.
Right. Now, yeah, we do have 9 pieces of apparatus. We just built a new station out in Copano Cove with all the growth going out there. And there'll be, what, 1 or 2 trucks out there?
1 for now, possibly 2.
1 for now. So the people live in Copano Cove in the area. We did have a station and it got damaged by Harvey. And that's another thing that hit us real hard was Harvey. We literally had a truck that didn't make it and insurance would not cover any part of it. And so that took a big hit, and what was it, about $400,000 to fix it?
Almost 6.
Yeah, almost 6 by the time it was done.
Almost $600,000
Have it refurbished.
to have it refurbished. That's not a new truck, $600,000, okay? Luckily, we have a savings, thanks to Oyster Fest, for things like this to happen. And for emergencies, you never know when a pump's gonna go out. You know, you never know what's gonna happen when you go to a fire. But thanks to Oyster Fest, but it doesn't only just help the fire department. All our food booths are nonprofit. Churches, schools, school groups, and that's all for nonprofit.
We do a lot for the school groups.
We do a lot for the school groups, and you know, it takes volunteers to put this festival on, a lot of volunteers. And so, you know, we only got so many firemen, and there's so much to do that we get school groups to come in, whether it's,
Junior ROTC.
yeah, junior ROTC,
Maritime
project graduation, just any group that has a group.
The Maritime Club helped out a lot this year.
Anyway, we pay them very well. Very well. So, everybody, I think, benefits from Oyster Fest one way or the other. I know the towns, the county benefit that year, through hotel, motel money, and different things. Over 45 years, you would think, you know, everything's gonna run smooth next year, we don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah, wrong.
It doesn't work that way, I promise. There's always something that comes up, and it's not 2 months before, it's 2 hours before you open the show. And just, it could be anything, electrical, it just could be anything. But, proud to say that, I've been to all the Oyster Fest with the exception of 3. When I was serving my country, was not here, but I've been to all of them. My brother, he was one of the founding members. Cody, how long you been here?
I've been in the department since 2005. Haven't missed one yet.
2005, that's our current
13 years.
chief, Fulton Fire Chief. So, you know, and we keep getting bigger every year. You know, everybody says, why don't you put up another tent? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? We only got so much room. We only got so many people. We only got so much help. And we do the best we can with what we got.
On Saturday alone, last year, not this year, but last year, we had 23,000 people come through the gate on Saturday alone.
Saturday, yeah, that was last year.
Yeah.
And last year was a record year. I mean, we sold 600 sacks of oysters,
Almost 500.
Almost
almost
500.
500 kegs of beer.
Well, I thought our 51 was long.
It is.
And just kind of a comparison, I think Aransas County is sitting at, what, 24,000 for the
Census, yeah.
somewhere in there, so almost the same amount of people that are in the county were at Oyster Fest on Saturday alone last year.
Yeah, and that's just the people that pay, that we know about. Some of them jump the fence, some of them.
We give a lot of passes away.
Yeah, we give a lot of passes away. You know, a lot of the volunteers, they get a free pass to volunteer, but they're gonna volunteer, they're gonna stay. So, you know, it's hard to get an accurate count of actually how many
It
people
is.
are on the ground.
And if people are interested in volunteering, because you both, you know, need volunteers, how do they go about doing it with Lamar?
We have a Facebook page,
Okay,
and you can get all the information you need on that.
okay. And
Or go to mardigras.com.
And go to our website, fultonoysterfest.org, and there's a link to what is it,
It's
Kelly?
called Sign Up Genius.
Oh, yes.
We used it for the first time this year.
I've used it for the history segment.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I would recommend it.
We just got started with it this last year.
Yeah, 'cause it was all on paper and you had to compare and.
Oh, I know.
It was terrible, so this was awesome.
So, and something we did, a couple years ago, you can buy tickets online. Now people are starting to, you know, the first year we sold, I don't know, 100, last year we sold 700, 600.
I think the first year was around 1,500, and this
Oh,
year was down 3,000.
Yeah.
Okay, 3,000. And so people are catching on to being able to buy entrance tickets online, which helps a lot, because when that parade's over Saturday morning, it's
It's tough to get in.
Online.
You need street walkers.
Yeah,
We have those.
We do that too.
no, we pre-sale, we try to do everything to make it easy.
But again, it's finding people to do it.
Yeah,
Cause we still got the festival fixing to start. So, you know, we gotta have the whole full crew back there.
Yeah, we have golf carts that go up the parade route selling entry tickets,
We do that.
oyster tickets, yes.
But I call them street walkers.
Yeah.
They're the ones that started it, yeah.
I know when you pointed it out.
That's the original street
well, they
walk.
actually have a golf cart, they don't street
Oh,
walk. We don't
my
let them.
goodness.
But our brother got us into this,
Yeah.
okay?
If my dad could see what this fire department has done in the last 5 years since he's been gone, he'd be proud. Cody, I'm gonna tell you what, they've really stepped up, and it's just been awesome, and I think he's looking down on his blessing, because I think we've had pretty weather for the last 5 years.
Oh, boy, isn't that true?
You know, we had to cancel during COVID, or the flu, whatever you wanna call it. And then we missed, out of the 45 years, one Sunday we got rained out. So out of that whole time, we've been doing it.
We've had lots of rain and lots of cold weather, but we went through it.
Give us kind of a figure of what the profit that we had the last couple of years. Is there a figure?
A bunch,
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I mean, we're
A
talking
bunch.
about,
a bunch.
about hundreds of thousands.
We're talking 300,000 or 400,000.
Yes,
That's what I
Maybe
was
five.
sizable, wow.
yes.
But it costs a lot to put them on.
It's fixing to say, we are doing everything we can to keep it affordable. You know, we didn't do fireworks last year. They went up $35,000 for 12 minutes. To us, that was like
Wow.
watching $35,000 just go up in the air 12 minutes. Well, that's, you know, to a fire department, that's a lot of money.
I think that was a good decision too. When I read about that, I was like, well, that was smart.
And, you know, we want to keep it as cheap as we possibly can. And we did raise prices last year. We may not, you know, if people are nice to us this year, I'm talking think people, insurance companies and tent people, and,
Yeah.
you know, there's just so much that, you know, of course, at some point, you have to pass that cost on. I mean, it's just.
Well, before
It's
you
your
even
mom.
open the gate, you've already spent.
Oh, God, before we open the gates, we're already 158,000 in the hole. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, so I mean, that's what it takes to just open the gates.
Just to open it.
Just to open the gates.
Well, I just wanted to know the profit that you're
Yeah.
making now
Yes.
compared to 45 years ago.
And we're not making near the profits we made in the past because it's costing us so much
Yes.
and we don't
and
wanna,
in the last 4 years, things have almost doubled.
yeah.
And
As with
it's,
us too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everything's
I mean,
done.
it's just-
Even the advertising.
yeah,
Oh,
everything.
It's just,
It's ridiculous.
yes.
Yeah, it is, it's cutting into the.
Yeah, I mean, just everything, and it's, you know, so what do? Okay, well, let's make the public that comes in and supports us all year long pay a lot of money to come in and have a good time. Well, that's not how we look at it. Y'all are supporting us, yes, we do have to charge a little bit to get in, but we're gonna keep it as cheap as possible so we can get the people in there, and then we're gonna take some of your money.
Talk about the training for the fire departments, because both of them I know cost.
Pardon me?
Training for the fire department.
Oh, training. That is a big deal. Going back, you know, the fire department and the firemen are very lucky that they have some of the training they have now. Back when we started, it was put your boots on if you had them, or put your hat on if you had one, and you're gonna go fight fire. And, I mean, you figured it out pretty fast. You know, fire's hot, so, you know, you learn fast, even if you're a slow learner. But the training now, I'd like the chief to come in, because I'm not up to date on it, but it's, I know we talk about it in some of our meetings, and it's expensive.
So, you know, depending on the training, we like to bring certain instructors in-house to teach, and that could cost, you know, a few $100s per firefighter for the class. Luckily, there is some state assistance through the Texas Forestry Service that reimburses us for some of this training. I've got 3 firefighters right now that are going after their firefighter 1, which is online, and then going for skill sets at Texas A&M. Just the online class was $800 per firefighter. And then it'll be another cost of sending them to Texas A&M, hotels, per diem. And they do it all on their own time. They don't receive anything but the per diem, and that basically pays for their meals while they're there. So they're doing it on their own time and spending the late nights and weekends training and taking the classes and doing the skill sets. And it's a long drawn out process, but we've got a good group of people that take care of it and get it done.
And we have to keep a standard to keep our key, whatever you call that, low.
Key rating,
For the insurance.
yes.
Yep, and the ISO ratings is,
Yeah.
That's all.
and that involves buying certain pumpers with certain size pumps, and you know, we're gonna have to purchase a ladder truck here in the near future. I know we keep saying it at Oysterfest, but the price keeps going up every year, so, and other things keep coming up, and we had a setback with the refurbishment of the truck, and we want to refurbish our rescue instead of buying a $1 million truck. We'd rather send it off for a few $100,000 and have it refurbished. So we try to save money throughout the community, through the county and the city and the town of Fulton, as much as possible. So.
And these are all volunteers. They don't make a penny.
We're very very
And-
fortunate in this community to
Yes,
have the
and
3 fire
I'm
departments that we
gonna
have.
close
It's
with
such a
that.
high
This has
level.
nothing to do with Oyster Fest.
And they all work well together.
Yeah.
I
And that's
want
a
to
good-
tell you how
How bad
lucky
each other
the
up.
citizens of Aransas County, town of Fulton, the city of Rockport is to have 3 fire departments. Every once in a while, they have a tiff, but if they're having a tiff and there's a call, that goes away, and they all become one team. And it doesn't matter what it is. It does not matter. Harvey was a big test. Everybody got along good, and I mean, if your house catches on fire, you're gonna have a fire department there, whether it's Rockport, Fulton, or Lamar, or all 3. And like I said, if you've never seen them work together, they work together
Very well.
very well.
I would encourage anybody throughout the community that stop by our stations. Each department meets every Thursday evening for their weekly meetings, trainings. Stop by the stations, see what each department has, and Rockport Fire Department, they benefit off of Oyster Fest. They have a large food booth selling shrimp and oysters. And then Mardigras. So each department has pretty much their own festival or own fundraising. Stop by their stations, see what these festivals are paying for, because you can physically go see it. They'll be happy to show you the gear, the equipment, how much it actually costs. If you're out traveling around throughout the state and you're going through these small towns, let's say the size of Rockport or the size of the town of Fulton, look for their fire stations and compare it to ours. There's some departments that are unfortunate, and there's departments out there that the membership are having to put into a hat just to pay for fuel.
That's it.
And they're still running 1980 trucks, so we are very fortunate for the community that we have, and the leadership throughout the county and the cities that help us and back us, and Oyster Fest, Mardigras, that benefit us and make sure that we have the equipment that we do.
I can tell you, Cody, it's people like you that cares about their community that makes this work, and you're very much appreciated.
We're here.
All right,
Yeah, let Zilla get back in the picture.
that's good. Tell us each other.
She said we're gonna stand up here by side.
Sounded like it's suspicious.
I like giving that. He needs it, doesn't he?
Yes, ma'am, he does.
It's a matter of opinion.
I'd also like to throw in a plug, the Maritime Museum, the Maritime Museum, I wear their t-shirt, my husband's on board there, and we have a display in one of these cases.
Top row.
Top there? Oh, right next to Babes of the Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Saturday, 2 weeks from yesterday, will be the Maritime Museum's Wine Festival. That is their big fundraiser of the year, and we encourage everyone to come. Of course, if you want to volunteer, they started using Sign Up Genius last year, and that's an opportunity, and they're changing it out a little. My husband and I really enjoy traveling around to different wineries, and we find that Texas wine is on a par with California and Oregon and Washington State and other countries. And so we're really trying to showcase some of their wines in addition to the other ones that are maybe you see on TV commercials, but we have really, really good wine here in Texas. So you can sign up to volunteer if you want, or you may just come, attend, and enjoy the wine. And we'll be glad to see you there. Thank you, and thanks for coming today. And we welcome you to walk around, take a look at some of the other festivals that we're gonna be talking about in 2 weeks, right, Pam? Our next presentation?
Yes, the next presentation will be on the Wine Fest and on the Art Festival.
Yeah.
So in 2 weeks on a Sunday afternoon, we'll have those fellows talk about those events too.
And that is a holiday weekend, we are to have it that weekend.
Yeah, it's Memorial Day weekend. They have the Wine Fest every Memorial Day week. There's a patrons party also on Thursday evening, which which is maybe the 23rd, with the wine festival. People are welcome to come. They have a live and silent auction there. But if you just want to come to the wine festival, walk around, learn about Texas wines, sample some, and they have great bands lined up. And it's from 2 to 10 p.m. Saturday. And thank you for coming today.